Hey, good morning, all. I began a series yesterday on one of Jesus' sweeping statements. He has a number of these scattered throughout the Gospels, the whosoever will, and if anyone statements. And each one of them is an invitation for you, for anyone, to taste and to see, to experience God in a way you haven't yet. And the verse we're looking at is in John 7, where Jesus says, "Whoever believes in me, as the scriptures have said, out of his heart, out of his innermost being will flow rivers of living water." And I said yesterday that this is his travel brochure, which paints the picture of the vacation of vacations, the destination of destinations, the place where I want to be. And looking at this brochure, you realize that this place offers so much more than where you are, than what you have. In that sense, you see what you don't have. And so the good news and bad news is all wrapped up into one. You look at this place and you look at where you are, and there's no comparison. And this alone should be your motivation to say, hey, how do I get there? And it does tell us how to get there. Jesus doesn't just say, hey, here's a place, and try to make your way. But that's what we do too often as Christians. We hear this amazing story, this amazing life, and then we try to get there in our own efforts. And when statements like these are preached, we're saying within us, whoa, I've tried that and it doesn't work for me, so let me just be content to fill some space. But if that is where you are, you're in a great place. You're one step away, because a Christian life is not difficult. It's impossible. If you think you can do this Christian life, you haven't got it yet. The children of Israel thought they could, and look where it got them. Most Christians still live in an old covenant mentality. As long as we're on the running wheel, like that rat in the laboratory running, we think we're doing okay. As long as we're swimming upstream, we think that God is pleased. But that's why we're exhausted with church. We're exhausted with God, and we're exhausted with life. So today I want to talk about this destination, that place where your life is an effortless flow and overflowing, where you're not being overwhelmed by life, but you're impacting it, and where you're continually encouraged and encouraging others. Rivers of living water. Rivers, not a trickle, not a drop, or droplets, and not just any old water, but living water. We're talking about this river, the one you don't need to paddle on, you just need to get in, or as we shall see, it just needs to be released from you. The river is one of the great themes of the Bible. From the garden to Revelations, where it flows from the throne, from the Psalms, where it makes glad the city of God, to Ezekiel, where it just carried him away. I'm talking about this river, and Jesus is talking about this river, and he says this river now is in you. And this is normal Christianity, not average Christianity. There's a difference. This is the norm, and only one person has ever lived this life, and only one person still lives this life, and that is Jesus Christ, and he now lives in you. That's why it's normal. Christ in you, the hope of glory. Christ in you, the assurance of this glorious sort of life becoming a reality in your life now, while you're still in this world and not in the next. The life of God animating you, sustaining you, filling you, refreshing others, regardless of situations. If you don't believe me, and if you don't believe Jesus, how about believing John Bunyan in The Pilgrim's Progress? The pilgrim, before he started his journey, went to the house of an interpreter and saw a number of different things. But one thing he was shown was a fire in a fireplace where water was being doused on it, but the flame was burning higher and hotter, all the while the water was being poured on it to be doused. And he was led behind the fireplace, and he saw that while water was being doused from the outside, from the inside, oil was being poured on it from the inside. So do you understand that interpretation? Beloved, Jesus said, for anyone who thirsts, this can be your reality: a life of flowing, a life of blessing, a life where He is carrying you and you're not carrying your Christianity. It's a life of rest and unbelievable productivity. Jesus' words is your invitation to exchange your meager life, your meager existence, for His overflowing life. What a deal. Uh, until tomorrow, where I'm going to begin talking about how to remove the dam or the barriers that has kept this river from flowing. Till tomorrow.